By the miracle of nature, forests and rangelands exist on this tiny little place called Earth. The symbiotic relationship between all living creatures and the wildlands assures our mutual survival. Because they breathe, we breathe. Forest systems cover more than 30% of the Earth's land area. Globally, forest vegetation and soils contain about 1,100 petagrams of carbon. As well as carbon sequestration, forest habitats provide a multitude of goods and services such as food, water, and shelter, among others. The world's forests contain 80% of the terrestrial biomass and play a vital role in the conservation of biodiversity. Over half the world's known terrestrial plants and animal species live in the forest habitat. At 308 million hectares, rangelands represent 31% of the total land area of the United States. Rangeland vegetation is predominantly made up of grasslands, grass-like plants or shrubs, and include natural grasslands, savannas, shrublands, mini deserts, tundras, alpine communities, marshes, and meadows. The scale of ecosystems that rangelands provide supports biodiversity and in turn provide for ecosystem services. In California, rangelands cover over half the state and provide over two-thirds of the forage for domestic livestock. Since long before the arrival of man, fire has been a driving force in the evolution of the world's forests and grasslands. There is evidence and data going back more than 125 million years showing that variation among natural populations is driven by the effects of fire. In addition, these populations show evidence of inherited genetic traits developing as a result of their differing fire regimes. Altogether, the evidence is clear that fire events exerts evolutionary pressure on the environment, thus shaping its biodiversity. With the introduction of human populations and an expanding forestry industry, the disturbance caused by fire has been effectively deemed a nuisance. As a result, fire suppression and avoidance has become a major priority. Over the last 150 years, the effectiveness of fire suppression as a policy has changed the basic dynamics of the forest lands and grasslands alike. This period of fire suppression has resulted in abnormally large fuel loads developing in the undergrowth and contributing to the likelihood of extraordinarily large catastrophic fires. Disastrous wildfires destroying every tree for hundreds of acres while scorching the soil are becoming more common across the West. In 2011, 156,000 acres were burned in the Los Conchas fire. It was the largest fire in New Mexico's history. The very next summer, the Whitewater Baldy fire burned 300,000 acres in the Gila Wilderness. More recently, in 2018, the Camp Fire, California's most deadly fire, devoured the town of Paradise. Scientists predict that fires like these will increase in severity and frequency as the climate warms. However, over the past few decades, there has been growing awareness of the influence that fire has over the levels of biomass in the natural environment. Attempts to allow wildlands to return to their natural state are ongoing and complicated, lending urgency to the adoption of adaptive management policies.